Hey everyone, today I thought I'd do a talk about something that we don't really talk about or confront head on really, and that's death. It's definitely one of my most deeply rooted fears, I guess, and maybe others as well when they think about it. Whether I have an occasional thought or a constant undercurrent when my anxiety is real bad, death holds a unique position in our lives. It's inevitable, yet shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. And I often wonder, why is the fear of death so powerful? And how do I cope with it? I guess at its core, what fears me most about death is the fear of the unknown. Like, no one can say for certain what happens after we die. Is it eternal sleep? Do you get reborn? A journey into the afterlife? Or simply nothingness? Now that uncertainty for me fuels my anxiety, because I believe we're creatures that thrive on understanding and control. Death by its nature defies both. I think the fear also taps into a loss of identity. I think we define ourselves by our experiences, relationships, and achievements. And the thought of all that leaving and vanishing can seem very overwhelming. Who are we when we are stripped of our physical bodies and everything that defines us? Where do we go? It's not just a fear of ceasing to exist, it's a fear of losing who I am. There's also the fear of the suffering that may precede death. You know, I don't think many people are afraid by death itself, but maybe how they will die, whether it involves pain, illness, or loneliness. I think this compounds the fear, making it more immediate and visceral. The fear of death is universal, but I think how we respond to it is shaped by maybe our upbringing, our personal beliefs, our culture. You know, so in some cultures, I know that death is just seen as a natural transition, embraced as a part of the cycle of life. Whereas in contrast, like the Western cultures, particularly those influenced by materialism and individualism, often see death as a finality, a complete cessation, the be all and end all, that's it, done. And I think as a result, we tend to be more averse to discussing or even acknowledging death. I think a big part of my fear of death comes from seeing my mum and my brother have such painful and uncomfortable deaths, and then finding my mum dead as well. And I think that had a massive impact on me, as it would anyone. So what I kind of try and find out is, given its inevitability, how do we cope living with this fear? How do we live with the acknowledgement that one day we and everyone we love will die? You just push the thought of death to the background, focusing on distractions of our daily lives. You know, we always keep ourselves busy with work, entertainment, you know, social obligations, hoping to keep, you know, mortality at arm's length, out of sight, out of mind. But I think this only works very temporarily. When we lose a loved one, you know, or face illness ourselves, or we just grow older, we are forced to come face to face with death, and it sort of reasserts itself in our awareness. I guess another way of looking at it, or helping, another strategy, is just seeking meaning through religion or spirituality. I know many find comfort in faith and the idea that death is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. I was just having this conversation with my partner. You know, belief in a afterlife or a higher purpose can ease the fear of death, you know, offering reassurance that life continues in another form. I guess some people leave a legacy behind as a way to transcend death. You know, you create something lasting, a body of work, a family, a contribution to society of some sort that will outlive us. And by leaving that something behind, you feel a sense of continuity, that part of you will remain even when you're gone. I was watching a video the other day about Stoicism, and how they thought about death, or thinking about death regularly, as a way to sort of strip it of its power. Accepting it as a natural part of life, we could live more fully and freely in the present. After all, you know, it's only when we confront death that we can truly appreciate life. And I feel that every day now when I think about death, for sure. And I think my fear of death is definitely feels like a call to live more deeply. And as final and frightening as it seems to me, it definitely reminds me of life's importance, you know, and value. When we recognize that time is finite, we're more likely to live with intention, focus on what truly matters, our relationships, our passions, you know, and our purpose. So I'll carry on wondering about death for the rest of my life, I'm sure, and I don't need to banish that fear. I am definitely learning to not be afraid of it, and it definitely doesn't cause as much anxiety as it used to. Thanks for listening.